Oh, goodness gracious. 3 more friends? How lucky are we to be blessed with so many friends? The half angle formulas. Sine of theta over 2. So I'm taking the angle and I'm dividing by 2 is plus or minus the square root of 1 minus cosine theta over 2. So sine is associated with that minus sign. We saw the same thing in our power reducing formulas. Maybe that will help you memorize these. Cosine theta over 2 is again plus or minus the square root of 1 plus cosine theta over 2. We saw cosine associated with the plus when we did our power reducing formulas as well. And if I have tangent theta over 2, of course, tangent of an angle is sine of the angle over cosine of the angle. So if I did tangent theta over 2 is equal to sine of theta over 2 over cosine theta over 2, which is this divided by this. And I could keep change flip and get rid of the 2's. So I'd have the square root of 1 minus cosine theta over 1 plus cosine theta. Now, if I rationalize that, I'd get this. And then if I multiply by the conjugate, 1 minus cosine theta has a conjugate of 1 plus cosine theta, I'd get this. I'd have to do a Pythagorean substitution, but this simply comes from sine of theta over 2 divided by cosine theta over 2. Notice we have a plus or minus with both the half angle for sine and cosine. Here is our key statement that you have to know. The plus or minus signs of sine of theta over 2 and cosine of theta over 2 depend, here it is, depend on what? Now, I've had so many students over the years just not follow through with this. They depend on which quadrant theta over 2 lies in. And that is going to come down to A, S, T, C. So find your answer. And then at the last, choose positive or negative based on, if we're talking about sine, if theta over 2, this is the key. Find out where theta over 2 is. Define theta over 2. And then tell me which quadrant that's in. And then use ASTC following the sine and cosine pattern. Sine is positive above, cosine is positive to the right. That is so important. I'm going to say it again. The plus or minus sign of sine theta over 2 and cosine theta over 2 depends on which quadrant this angle here, theta over 2, lies in.